Was the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal a disappointment? Hello there everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Botox Games, and I've seen this opinion a lot over the past couple of days now that we've had some time to marinate on the Switch 2 reveal, that it maybe didn't live up to the expectations that fans had set for Nintendo's next generation hardware. And while I do want to emphasize early on that I think this is a small minority of Nintendo fans and gamers alike that are actually disappointed in this hardware, I think overwhelmingly the majority of people are happy this is what they're doing. They're happy this is the direction that Nintendo is going with their Switch 2. I've definitely seen a lot of people saying, like, man, this is kind of a lackluster reveal. Why did we only see Mario Kart? Mario Kart itself maybe didn't look all that exciting to some people. And the hardware itself, I've seen a lot of people saying, like, well, I believe you that this will be exciting later, but all you really showed us was that it's bigger and you can do some weird mouse shenanigans with it, and that's really it. It kind of just looks like a Switch Pro or a Switch XL, and I think maybe Mario Kart is playing into that a lot, where graphically, it doesn't look like this next-gen leap from Mario Kart 8. You know, when you look at the finer details, you can definitely tell there's a difference there in the texture quality and the models. I think if you are maybe a more casual fan and you look at this trailer, you just see it and you're like, okay, this is like, it's just another Switch. Which, to be fair, I think is what a lot of us, in fact, maybe even most of us, wanted Nintendo to do. They've never put a 2 on their console, and I think a big part of it is the leaks, right? If you weren't following the Switch 2 leaks, and you know, you're just scrolling your social media casually, you see it pop up on your Twitter feed, if you don't know anything about the leaks, you see this trailer, it's just like, well, it's just another Switch, right? It doesn't necessarily scream next generation, other than the fact that they put the 2 on it. I think for me, and I guess I should say this now, it kind of goes without saying, I guess, but I was not disappointed in the reveal. I'm very happy to finally have seen this hardware. I'm very happy to get a glimpse of the next Mario Kart. But I think when you compare the reveal of the Switch 2 versus the reveal of the Switch back in 2016, that's where it really starts getting a little bit more muddied, in my opinion, of like, well, the Switch had a much harder sell because we didn't know what it was. A hybrid handheld home console was a totally new thing at that point. The resurgence of powerful handhelds wasn't a thing yet, right? The Steam Deck wasn't a thing at that point. The Switch in 2016 had a bigger uphill battle to tell you what it was and really demonstrate, like, hey, this is what you can do with it, which is why we got a proper lifestyle trailer with actors playing all of the games that Nintendo had ready in year 1, whereas with the Switch 2, I mean, the Switch is already a huge success. They kind of just need to really show you the finer details and really show you what the minor changes are, because ultimately they don't need to reinvent the wheel. The Switch is a proven success. People love the Switch. It is their most successful console of all time. They just needed to go back to the lab and refine it to a T and make a more powerful version, and maybe with some more gimmicks. We'll talk about mouse con stuff in just a minute. But what they essentially did was, I guess you could view it as almost like an Apple iPhone trailer, where every year there's a new Apple iPhone. This is your successor to the iPhone. This is your next year upgrade to your Nintendo Switch. It just took 7 years to get here. And I think that's maybe part of the issue, right? We, as people who have been following the leaks and know about console generations and stuff, we will look at this and say, well, they didn't really show it, but we know this is a huge leap for Nintendo. This is going to be the biggest leap they've ever had in terms of raw hardware power. That is a huge deal, but we didn't see that shown off here. In the Switch reveal trailer back in 2016, while a lot of Switch games look like Wii U games, it was still exciting, first of all, because they showed more than one game, right? We knew about Breath of the Wild at that point, but they also teased Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Super Mario Odyssey and Splatoon 2, as well as Skyrim and NBA. But it was also exciting because not only did they reveal those games or tease those games, we also saw them running on a handheld, something much smaller than the Wii U. So even though graphically there wasn't a big difference there, it was the fact that you could play them on the go. You could play them on an airplane. That is what was so exciting about the Switch reveal back in 2016. With the Switch 2 reveal in 2025, it's like Mario Kart looks better than Mario Kart 8, but it's not this huge 10-year gap, I would say, that a lot of people were expecting. And I don't think it's unfair for fans to have expected a bigger push when it comes to the graphical fidelity of their software. People are always saying, like, yeah, Nintendo focuses on art style and stuff. I'm right there with you. I totally understand that. And, you know, I'm not disappointed with how Mario Kart looks, just playing devil's advocate here. You can still keep your artistic merits and all that stuff and still look graphically better than something like Mario Kart did, right? I mean, look at Ratchet & Clank on PS4. From the very little bit we've seen of Mario Kart 9 or whatever it's called, Ratchet and Clank from 2016 on the PS4 absolutely looks better than that, and that is, you know, a 10-year-old game running on what is likely to be less powerful hardware than the Switch 2. It's a little weird that that is the first thing we saw. Likewise, though, and the reason I'm completely okay with Mario Kart not being this huge leap graphically, I really appreciate that Nintendo is just focusing on making fun games. That is why I love Nintendo. I can appreciate all the bells and whistles of a PS5 Pro. I truly can. I really like a pretty looking game. I love that Nintendo focuses on fun and gameplay, and they focus on that, and that is why their games are so much better than 99% of every other game that releases in the industry. They know what people want, they know what makes a game fun, and that is what they prioritize. So if we're looking at the Switch 2, and it's, let's say, 5 times more powerful than the Switch, I think it's actually more than that, technically speaking. If it's 5 times more powerful than the Switch, and games end up not really looking that much better, that just means they're going to use that power and allocate it to other places, right? We're seeing with Mario Kart, it's 24 players. That is already a huge difference, and something that I'm sure they could not have done on Wii U while maintaining a 60 FPS frame rates. Stylistically, I think most Nintendo games already look very, very good, and I don't really want them to change it that much. I just want the games to run better, you know, 60 FPS. That's the dream. But something that they didn't talk about in this trailer is that the Switch 2 can output in 4K. This console will have 4K games on it, and they didn't advertise that. This console will have next-gen ports on it, like Elden Ring, and they didn't advertise that. So while I'm not personally disappointed with this trailer, I can definitely see why some people would be, and I'm curious how we'll feel in 5, 6, 7 years. I personally look back at the Switch 1 reveal as this like monumental trailer. It's such a great trailer. They teased so many great games. Mario Odyssey, that was the first time we saw that return to form sandbox 3D Mario. Splatoon 2, obviously Breath of the Wild, a couple other things. That reveal is an all-time iconic reveal, in my opinion. I love, love, love the Switch 1 reveal. Will we look at the Switch 2 reveal in a similar light 5, 6, 7 years from now? I kind of don't think so, just because it is, like I said, that like very, very polished Apple-style hardware trailer. It certainly has personality in its own way. It has very unique, very Nintendo-themed music playing. It has this whole idea of just showing you the original Switch and you know, seeing the bigger screen and the bigger Joy-Con. And I love this one shot where they basically shed the old skin of the Nintendo Switch 1, and you get this new exterior for the Switch 2. I think this is a great trailer. It's just, is it going to be as memorable as the Switch 1 trailer? And really, does that even matter? Probably not. But I think the biggest talking point when we're discussing whether or not this was a disappointing reveal for the Switch 2, the biggest talking point is the leaks that happened beforehand. A lot of people think that the leaks are the reason that this wasn't a hard-hitting reveal. It was just exactly what we expected. We didn't get much more than that. Mario Kart was a nice surprise, I guess, but it was exactly what we expected Nintendo to do. And I guess some people wanted more than that. This reveal wasn't a reaction to the leaks. They, I'm sure, had always planned on, in mid-January, having this very hardware-focused reveal trailer for the console. The leaks definitely took some wind out of those sails. However, I would also maybe argue that the leaks kind of helped temper expectations a little bit of like, well, yeah, it is just the Switch 2. We know it's going to be called Switch 2. We knew that before it was going to, before it was announced. It is going to be a bigger Switch with, obviously more capable specs, even down to the new Joy-Con colors. We knew that leading up to the announcement of this console. So on the one hand, those things not being a surprise, I guess you could view as a reason people are disappointed. But I think you could also see it the other way of like, well, at least expectations were tempered, and we kind of just knew, like, yeah, it's just a better Switch. There was something that Hideki Kamiya said, the creator of Okami and Bayonetta and Beautiful Joe and many more franchises. This is translated from his Twitter account here. He said, quotes, "I hope all of the people who leaked Switch 2 information and those who helped leak it will be cursed for the rest of their lives to always have poop on their soles of their shoes when they get home. The worst of scum. They should be covered in from head to toe and thrown out of the atmosphere and then stop thinking and wander forever. They need to be crushed as soon as possible." Now that is a very, very extreme quote from one of the most prolific game developers of all time. And I think he's being a little bit extreme here. I think this is a little bit overblown. Did the leaks hurt the surprise of the reveal? Yes. But once again, I think you could view it as maybe the leaks kind of helped temper expectations and, people weren't running wild with it. I know I can speak from my personal experience making Switch 2 videos over the past 18 months or so. there were people up until the major leaks back in September of 2024, there were people that thought they would not make a Switch 2. They would make something completely different with a different name. So if those leaks hadn't happened, those people would have run wild with their expectations of what this new Nintendo console is going to be. The leaks kind of tempered those expectations, I feel like. I will say, for me personally, something I wish had not leaked was the idea of the mouse con functionality, where you'll be able to put a Joy-Con strap on your Joy-Con for the Switch 2 and slide it around like a computer mouse. We don't know what the functionality of that is going to be, but that is such a Nintendo thing, and they very clearly tease it in this reveal trailer. I wish we hadn't had that tease beforehand or leaked beforehand, because then with this reveal trailer tease, we would have been speculating like crazy, like, whoa, what are they doing here? This is such a Nintendo thing to do. That is the one thing that I truly wish had not leaked about this, because that would have been really cool to see and kind of speculate with the community, like, what are they doing here? Why are these Joy-Con drifting? And ultimately, I think the real reason people are disappointed with this reveal trailer right now is that we need to see more, and people just want to see more. They know they love the Switch. Everybody complaining loves their Switch. I am sure of that. They just want to see more from Nintendo. They want to see those next-gen games. They want to see what truly sets us apart from the Switch 1, and we know we have to wait so long. We have to wait 3 months until April 2nd, so I guess 2.5 months. We have a while to wait until we see more from Nintendo. With the Switch 1 reveal, there was a little bit more to chew on, because we saw a glimpse of a new 3D Mario, we saw Splatoon, we saw, obviously, Breath of the Wild we knew was coming. Right now for Switch 2, all we know about is Mario Kart. We can make predictions about, okay, there will probably be a 3D Mario later this year. There will maybe be a cross-gen version of Metroid Prime 4, but there's not a lot to really go off of here. And I think that once we get that April Nintendo Direct, basically everybody's disappointment will go away, because you're going to see the great games, the great software that Nintendo is known for. You're going to see what truly makes this a next-generation console from Nintendo. But right now, this trailer almost has you asking more questions, right? We've waited so long for the reveal, and maybe that's another aspect of it too, right? A lot of people were expecting this thing to release in 2023, very foolishly, might I add, and then they thought it would come out in 2024, and then now here we are at the beginning of 2025, and we finally see it, and it is just a Switch 2, which is exactly what people want, but also gut reactions are going to lean towards disappointing, I think, for a lot of people. But yeah, I do think that once we get the Switch 2 Direct in April, and we see 3D Mario, we see more of Mario Kart, and what really sets it apart from 8 Deluxe, be that this potential new gimmick of having a boost meter where you have to fuel up at a pit stop and that kind of thing. Maybe we'll have some more variety in the tracks, that kind of stuff. We'll see 3D Mario, we'll see whatever Monolith Soft is working on, we'll see all of the great third-party support. That's what I'm surprised about recording this on Friday afternoon. We still haven't seen any third parties come out and announce anything. Ubisoft tweeted out that we love the Nintendo Switch 2 or whatever, but I kind of thought we would get this reveal, and then we would start seeing those third parties really start talking. There's been a bunch of indie devs teasing their games for Switch 2, but it seems like the third parties are also waiting until that April Direct, perhaps, which is, it's very interesting. So, we have this reveal, and also we have a 2.5 month gap in between us and more significant information. So I think that is also really playing into people's expectations and their disappointment levels and hype levels for this console. But as for me, I'm just happy we finally saw it after so much speculation for years from so many people. I was always expecting it to come out in 2025, so that's not disappointing to me personally, but I'm just happy we finally saw it. I'm happy that it is the Switch 2, and, you know, we'll have to wait and see what they actually, how they actually try to market the differences in this console when we get a more thorough explanation in that Nintendo Direct. I'm happy with this, though. I really, truly am, but I can see why some people are looking at this trailer and being maybe a bit whelmed by it, so to speak. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What do you think of the Switch 2 reveal trailer? Were you excited to see Nintendo reveal their next generation console, or do you think they could have done more to make it an even more exciting reveal? I think it ultimately does kind of just come down to the fact that we have to wait 2.5 months more, though. And they even show that in the trailer. You know, you see this new console and it looks like a Switch but bigger. That's cool. You see a bit of a new Mario Kart, and then they're like, yeah, you're not getting more for 2.5 months. And I think that might be also playing into a lot of the disappointment for some people. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Of course, subscribe here for more Nintendo Switch 2 content coverage, reviews, speculation, theories, all that fun stuff. Also, a lot of Mario Kart content coming up. I posted a video yesterday just gushing about about how excited I am for Mario Kart based on 12 seconds of footage, might I remind you. So definitely go check out that if you are excited for Mario Kart and you just want to hear a fellow fan gush about all of the possibilities of a Switch 2 Mario Karts. Until next time, folks, peace.